And a tool that I'd like us to share with you, a simple tool to help us build a more positive environment. And what is this tool? The first thing, yeah, SCARF. SCARF is an acronym. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Is it an acronym or yes, an acronym? It's an acronym based on a research done by psychologists in how we collaborate with ourselves and influence others. SCARF stands for status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. Let's start with status. But before I go to status, this is a book I would encourage you to purchase or to look for, because it shows you how your brain works and how you can enhance positive emotions such that you're able to build positive results. So, SCARF model. The brain, as I said, when it senses something positive, you tend to be attracted to move towards it. If you know you'll go somewhere and you'll get a reward, or if you know you're going somewhere and you'll gain benefit, chances are your brain will be motivated. And as a result of that motivation, you'll find yourself behaving in a way that you want to move towards that response. A simple one, and I believe, if not all of us, majority of us have fallen in love. When you're in love, that's a positive response. So what do you do? Because it's positive, you want to move towards that person. So you behave in a way that will resonate with that person that you're in love with. On the flip side, if you have a boss or a parent or a friend that just brings the worst out of you, they're always shouting, they're always criticizing you, you'd want to move away from them, because it's like it's threatening. And when you want to move away from them, even if you are laughing and this person comes and doesn't bring the best out of you, naturally you find yourself either tensing up or stopping to speak. That's how powerful the brain is. So you want to create a situation whereby you're motivated. And as you're motivated, first within yourself, then you're able to move forward, as opposed to being threatened and you want to retreat. So how do you do this? Status. As human beings, we want to be associated with people of status. That's why you'll say, I know so-and-so, if that person is perceived to have status. Or if it's a birthday party or a bash, you want that it's of somebody you'd like to be associated with. Yeah. Naturally, you will behave in a way that is positive. So the thing to do is to ask yourself, how can I create, as the youth, how do we create a situation such that I'd want to be part of that social encounter? Right now, there's a lot happening, yeah? But I believe there are those you look up to. I believe that those amongst you you'd like to be associated with, but I want to believe associated with in the positive way. Ask yourself, how can I associate myself with these people? Or how can I associate myself with this society, with this club, such that it brings the best out of me? That's one way of bringing positive emotions within ourselves, because human beings love to be associated with status. And the things that diminish you, you ask yourself, how can I stop myself from being with them? Like I had a friend who's always complaining, always critical of society, always saying how this is not happening. And I realized every time I was with this person, by the time I leave my meeting with her, I'll be feeling tired, I'll be feeling exhausted. And the next thing, what is happening is just negative thoughts going through my mind. So slowly, I started just reducing my encounters with this person because I needed to reduce my negative emotions. So that's one way of enhancing positive emotion. Then secondly, human beings love familiarity. When something is familiar, you tend to have a lot of energy, you are motivated, but when something is not familiar, you're a bit hesitant. So the thing as youth, you need to ask yourself, how do I create familiarity within my environment, within my society, within the people that I interact with? Because familiarity tends to bring out positive emotions. If I'm with people that I'm familiar with, by the way, I'm not nervous in giving a presentation. I'm not nervous to talk about emotional intelligence, but I'll be honest with you right now, I don't know how I'm appearing, but because I'm with unfamiliar people, I wish you could see the emotions running in me. But I keep reminding myself, Monique, you've done it before. So you're familiar with the content. You may not be familiar with the people, but you're familiar with the content. So that gives me some motivation and I'm able to go ahead. So that's another way of creating positive emotions in you. The third one is autonomy. Yeah. Human beings will love control. Anytime you feel you cannot control something, it brings stress, it brings uncertainty in you. And especially in today's world in Kenya, yeah, we have no control of the policies being made in our country right now. We have no control of COVID right now. I could go on and on and on. But I keep asking myself, even as I ask you, I believe there's something within your area of influence that you have control over. I have control over what I think. Although I must tell you, it took me time and I'm still learning to control my thoughts. Yeah, because when you're in a situation when you feel you're in control, you tend to be motivated. So the question you need to ask yourself, how can I ensure I bring some sense of control, a sense of influence within my environment, within my situation? Then the next thing, which more or less related with control, yeah, the brain has the ability to feel trust and empathy about others is shaped by whether they are perceived to be part of the same social group, relatedness. So look out for groups that you can relate to. Look out for people that you can relate to. Because if you're in such an environment, then you're able to build trust, then you're able to build empathy. And when you do that, you actually create positive emotions within yourself. And lastly, I'm trying to look at my time, and I think my time is well spent, is fast spent, is fairness. Yeah. How can you create a win-win situation? I once had a boss who told me, fairness doesn't exist. And if you want to succeed in life, don't ever think it has to be fair. Because at the end of it all, we're in it for our own interests. So as opposed to looking at fairness about me, myself, and I, look at fairness in terms of what is the win-win situation for me and the other person. Because life is about give and take. In any relationship, is about give and take. So that's the question we need to ask ourselves. And when you feel satisfied, and the other person feels satisfied. There is a mutual understanding between you. And when there's a mutual understanding between you, it creates positive emotions. And I'm reminded of this, I don't know if you saw the clip of the current ongoing Olympic competition. There was this, it was long jump, and after the final jump, these two, I think one was from Qatar, and I think the other person, I can't remember where the other participant was from. Yeah. And the judges could not decide. So they just decided, we'll give you 3 tries. After the third try, none of them had surpassed the length, the highest length they had jumped. And before the final try, one of these athletes, no, it's not an athlete, it's I would call them a long jumper, because it was long jump, got an injury and decided, you know what, I cannot do it. This other guy from Qatar had the opportunity of going and win and taking the gold medal. But you know what he did? After asking from the judges, can we have a win-win situation? Can we split the gold medal between myself and my competitor? And the judges agreed. You should have seen the two of them. A win-win situation. The emotions from both of them, the one that was given went over and over in the field. And the one also who could have just taken the gold and got the gold by himself, even cried. But it was not cry of, I've let go. It was cry of winning. Yeah. The emotion in both of them, win-win situation. So the thing we need to ask ourselves to create positive emotions, how can you have a win-win situation? A give and take. Because as youth, we are all leaders. And as a leader, every action you take and every decision you make either supports or undermines the perceived level of status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness in your enterprise or in your life. So the question I leave with you today, what decision do you take? Or what decision would you like to take in ensuring that you bring out positive emotions, not just in yourself, but in others too? Because when you bring out positive emotions, the mind broadens, the mind thinks in expansive manner, and the mind actually sees opportunities as opposed to seeing limitations. The choice is yours. Otherwise, thank you very much.